Title: AITA for grounding my daughter because she called my sister-in-law a slut. Verdict: asshole. My daughter Poppy is 14. A little while ago, she posted a picture from a family get-together on her social media. It was just a normal group photo. My husband, me, our kids, my sister-in-law, and her husband. Nothing suggestive, nothing weird, just family. Not long after she posted it, a boy from her school messaged her. He recognized my sister-in-law, Anastasia, from an adult film. He told Poppy about it, and from what I understand, he also sent her a clip or a link. Before this, Poppy had absolutely no idea that her aunt worked in the adult film industry. We never hid it from her on purpose. It just never came up in a way that felt age-appropriate, and we always figured we'd talk about it when she was older. Apparently, this boy then spread it around the school. He told other kids, and suddenly my daughter was the girl whose aunt does porn. Poppy started getting teased and harassed. Kids were making comments, asking gross questions, and sending her things online. She was humiliated and angry. I contacted the school as soon as I found out. They said they would look into it and take it seriously. They also said they planned to address online harassment and sexism with the students. I don't know how effective that will be, but at least they're not brushing it off. For context, my husband and I have always tried to be respectful and non-judgmental about Anastasia's profession. She's an adult, she makes her own choices, and she's always been kind, generous, and loving with our kids. We've tried to teach our children about tolerance, bodily autonomy, and not shaming people for their sexuality or their work, as long as it's consensual and legal. Poppy is understandably upset. I truly do feel for her. She's 14. Her social life is everything to her. And now she's being mocked for something that has nothing to do with her choices. But instead of directing her anger at the boy who spread the video or the kids who are bullying her, she's putting all the blame on Anastasia. She unfriended Anastasia on social media and went through her profiles, deleting every photo that had her aunt in it. She refuses to come with us to our weekly dinners at Anastasia's house. When Anastasia and her husband come over to our place, Poppy shuts herself in her room and plays Minecraft or scrolls on her phone, refusing to say hello or even look at them. I've tried talking to her about it. I've talked about how what's happening to her is a form of sexism, how women in the adult industry are often shamed and blamed for other people's behavior, and how the real problem is the kids who are harassing her and the boy who violated Anastasia's privacy. I've tried to explain that her aunt did not choose for a 14-year-old boy to find her work, share it, and weaponize it against Poppy. But Poppy just shuts down or rolls her eyes. She keeps saying things like, if she didn't want this to happen, she shouldn't have done porn. Anastasia is really hurt. She never wanted her work life to cross into her family life like this, especially not with the kids. She uses a stage name and she's careful about her privacy. She did not consent to having her real identity connected to her films by a bunch of teenagers. Now, on top of that violation, she feels like she's lost the close relationship she had with her niece. Before all this, Poppy adored her. They would text, share memes, and hang out at family events. Now Poppy won't even look at her. Last weekend, things came to a head. We were at home, and Anastasia and her husband were over for dinner. Everyone was downstairs except Poppy, who was in her room. I went upstairs to talk to her and asked her to please come down, even just to say a quick hello. I told her she didn't have to stay the whole time, but that completely ignoring her aunt was hurtful and disrespectful. Poppy refused. She got very cold and angry. When I pushed a little, she snapped and called Anastasia a vapid slut and referred to her husband as a pathetic cuck. She threw in a few other nasty words that I don't even want to repeat. The level of contempt and cruelty in her voice honestly shocked me. I have never heard her talk about anyone like that before. In that moment, I was furious and deeply disappointed. I told her that kind of language was absolutely unacceptable in our home, especially about family. I ended up grounding her for 3 months and taking away her internet access. No social media, no online games, no streaming except for school-related work. I wanted her to understand that this wasn't just teenage attitude. It was hateful, misogynistic language, and a complete lack of empathy. My husband, Levi, agrees that she needed to be punished for what she said, but he thinks 3 months is way too long. He admitted that when he first found out about Anastasia's career, he struggled with it too. He needed time to process it and work through his own biases. He thinks Poppy is going through a similar process, just with the added pressure of being bullied at school. He believes she needs space, support, and time, and that she'll eventually come around because at the end of the day, Anastasia is family and has always been good to her. After I calmed down and thought about it more, I started to wonder if I overreacted. I never imagined hearing those kinds of words come out of my daughter's mouth. And I think my shock played a big role in how harsh I was. In planning to scale the punishment back to something like 2 or 3 weeks, with a serious conversation about respect, sexism, and how to handle anger in a healthier way. My husband and I are also looking into therapy for Poppy because what's happening at school is clearly affecting her mental health and how she sees herself and her aunt. For clarification, when I talk about Anastasia's privacy being violated, I mean that she never consented to having her real name or personal identity exposed to a bunch of teenagers. Nor did she consent to her films being passed around by 14-year-old boys who then used them to harass her niece. She chose her career as an adult, under the assumption that her professional persona and her private life would remain separate. So, am I the asshole for grounding my daughter for calling my sister-in-law a slut? And for how harsh I made the punishment at first?